Greetings and salutations, wonderful people. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to discuss some common mistakes that are made by beginners and how they can be avoided. Vaping has ballooned in popularity. Granted, it's also been demonized and taken through the media gauntlet, and there is a ton of misinformation out there. Thankfully, they haven't fooled everybody. I won't take you down that road today, but there's plenty of videos on the channel you can find here that confront those blatant lies. Instead, today this video is intended to help you beginners. I realize vaping can appear to be very confusing to some people. When I first started, I felt like I landed in an alien world. It was like the first day of school, just totally lost. I personally had difficulties myself, and I feel like it's a pretty common, universal thing for everyone. So there's no need for you to feel like you're alone. Listen, this is something we all do. Marketing companies make a lot of money for this specific reason. Think about it. When we go to a restaurant, we go to Walmart, shop on Amazon, it's obvious a lot of thought has gone into the visual appeal of a product, right? The same is absolutely true when it comes to vaping. But buying the wrong device, the wrong juice, it's going to severely impact your ability to quit smoking. Buying with your eyes is a bad thing to do in any industry, but especially in the vaping realm, because you're playing with your health. There are literally thousands of options out there at this point, so finding the right device for you can be difficult, but it's extremely important. Just starting out, I highly recommend a compact and lightweight device. Just something that won't feel like a boulder in your hand. Also, larger devices tend to require accessories. Smaller devices tend to have onboard charging, such as with a USB cable, making it crazy easy to store and charge them. But with larger devices, they tend to involve external batteries, so you end up needing to buy those as well, along with a charger and a battery case. This complicates things because you have to remember to charge them, to store them, and it adds a lot of weight to your hand. This can be problematic for a new vapor, so keeping things smaller, lightweight, and convenient from the start will only improve your odds of quitting smoking. As far as juice goes, you'll hear that term often, as no one really calls their e-juice liquid. My advice would be to go with someone or something that will keep you coming back to it. What that might be is different for everyone. The FDA knows this, and that's why they restricted trying flavors in shops. Listen, they don't want you to quit smoking. That's a lot of tax dollars they're missing out on. I'm gonna skip past the advocacy part of this. Anyway, a lot of times shops will advise you to start with a tobacco flavor, right? But for me personally, that didn't work. Strawberry and cream is what got me to quit smoking originally. However, I do know people that were able to quit using tobacco flavors, so if you have a friend or one of the shop workers is your friend, I highly recommend trying or borrowing a variety of flavors so you can try more than one until you find the one that works to keep you from smoking. This is something all of us men are probably guilty of, right? Okay, maybe not all of us, but probably most of us. The instructions are included for a reason. You'd be surprised how many times people just chuck the instructions in the trash with the box when they get a new device. I mean, look, I get it. It's exciting when you get a new device, but rushing into using it without knowing how it works is only going to frustrate you. So obviously, my advice would be to take your time and learn the functions, even if just the basic ones of your device before using it. Oftentimes, a vape shop worker, although well-intentioned, will recommend a nicotine strength that's simply too high for someone. This is something that's become all too common with the introduction of salt nicotine. While salt nic has been extremely effective in getting people to quit smoking, it can cause nicotine dependency, and it can make you feel sick if you're consuming too much. Beginner vapors tend to hit their device like it's a cigarette out of habit. The problem with this is salt nicotine is absorbed into your bloodstream much faster and at higher concentrations, so your brain reacts by saying, "This is too much for me." The only way it can do that is by making you feel sick. So how do we avoid that? First, my advice would be to go with a slightly lower nicotine level than 50 milligrams. You probably see that pretty common in vape shops and in gas stations and stuff. If the shop has 25 to 30 milligrams in salt nicotine, I would suggest that over a 50 milligram product. if they have 12 to 18 milligram products in what's called free-base nicotine. And you can just say regular nicotine because free-base sounds like a drug, but that's what it's called. Anyway, the shop worker will understand regular nicotine. So if you just ask for 12 to 18 milligrams in regular nic and they have it, that would be a good place to start for your juice. So 25 to 30 milligrams in salt, 12 to 18 milligrams in regular is what I would recommend starting out with. Now, burning your coil is probably the most common beginner problem. Making sure your coil is properly saturated is super important. Burnt cotton is actually hazardous to your health. So when you taste that first sign of a burnt coil, make sure to check it out before continuing to vape. Avoiding a burnt coil is pretty quick and easy. When you first install a coil, vapers use what's called priming. Essentially, all it is making sure your cotton is completely saturated with e-juice. Now, another reason this can happen is the power settings on your device are just too high. Starting low, if your device has power settings, starting low and working your way up is a great way to find the exact level of performance that's right for you and won't burn your coil. All right, that's it, guys. If you have any further questions, please feel free to drop them below. If this video gets old and I don't get a notification from YouTube, it does happen. I'm sure someone helpful in the future or closer to now helps you. Anyway, comment below or reach out to me on Instagram at this, not sure where on the screen I'm gonna put it, but the Instagram handle on the screen. Check that out, reach out to me, and I will be happy to help you. Anyway, you guys stay safe, and of course, Cloud salute.